Joseph Diaz versus Tevin Farmer rematch soon? Welcome to Renee Box Young. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, sharing, showing your support, tuning into the lives, commenting in the comment sections of the videos. You know, subscribers since day one, recent subscribers, welcome. You know, Renee Box Young is a platform where we simply discuss, critique, analyze, and just chop up the sport of boxing. Simple as that. Take the hate somewhere else. Y'all know how this is. Y'all know how we do it here. We're doing new things at Renee Box Young. I want to just, emphasize just a little bit before we get into this, interesting topic, very interesting topic, and I think this is promising, okay? But before we get to that, I just want to express my gratitude to you all, to the community. It's our community. We've been having a ball. I say we because we have been, we are a community and we are one, what I'm saying, here at Renee Box Young, and we have been having a ball on the lives, and just, with our, honorable guests that have been there, and my sidekick, LeVar Cooper. Shouts out to my guy over there, man. Definitely, man. I'm just having fun, man. I'm really having fun. And I'm enjoying the sport of boxing, man. I'm definitely enjoying it. And, thank you so much, for all your support, each and every one of you. Let's get right into this. Joseph Diaz breaks down why there hasn't been a rematch thus far. They fought some time ago. And it, regarding certain fighters inactive, I've expressed it time and time again. Joseph Diaz and Tevin Farmer, unfortunately, recently, have been inactive for a while. All right. After, as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, after Joseph Diaz and Tevin Farmer fought, I haven't really heard from them anymore. You know what I mean? In the background here and there, of course, in interviews or what have you. But I want to express, I want to make this video to show you the why and show you how it looks like a rematch with these two warriors is very possible, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right to it, okay? You can go here and check it out. You know what I'm saying? You can see the image quite similar to my thumbnail. It says here, Joseph Diaz Jr. Okay, boxingscene.com, link in the description, yada, yada, yada. You check it out, okay? It says here, I'll fight Tevin Farmer again. Numbers just have to make sense. We already know the deal there in the story when it comes to fighters saying that. I mean, it's logical and we understand and it's necessary. I mean, let me just make a pause here, okay? When it comes to that, when fighters talk about numbers making sense, we got to face the facts, ladies and gentlemen. You already know, you've heard it, how fighters go back and forth when it comes to the numbers, okay? It's just a fact in the sport of boxing. Fighters know about it. How many times do we hear about fighters saying time and time again, it has to make sense? Okay, if I'm not mistaken, Jamal Charlo went live on Instagram recently talking about, hey, let's talk about fights. Let's talk about this boxing, And, in the chat, they're talking about, Benavidez. And he said, something along the lines of whatever, okay? But my point is, he said something along the lines of, tell me something, a fight has to make sense. It has to make sense, what makes sense? And he was asking the community what we want, what fight we want for him, what I mean? Who his next opponent should be, sorry. So, fighters say it time and time again, ladies and gentlemen, it has to make sense. Monetarily speaking, it's so obvious and it goes hand in hand with the sport of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, whether we like it or not as a boxing community. I don't like it much, but it is what it is. It's part of the boxing. It's part of the sport, ladies and gentlemen. It's part of the sport, okay? And we got to face the facts, whether we like it or not. You know what I'm saying? Fighters are going to talk about it. They're going to say it, and we hear it time and time again from a wealth of fighters. For a fighter to come out and say, it's not about the money. I just want to fight. Yeah, we understand that. But fighters got to break down the numbers. It is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get back to that. So I mean, we got here, Joseph Diaz saying that it has to make sense. Okay, now let's continue here. Look at the quote. The fight didn't materialize because of the coronavirus, and the IBF ended up ordering me to fight Rakimov. So we see here that, guys, it didn't materialize because of the coronavirus, the rematch. So, he's giving a explanation. I don't think Joseph Diaz here is ducking. I don't think he's sitting here, making excuses. This is quite legit, I think, in my humble opinion. I think Diaz is quite honest. He says, I accepted the challenge, and I've got a deal with Rakimov now. I would get it. That's fine. But like I've said in previous interviews, I'm willing to fight Tevin Farmer again. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. It just has to make sense. It has got to make sense where everything is looking right. If everything makes sense, if Tevin Farmer and his team come up with the right numbers for myself, we can definitely make the fight happen again. So it looks like, to a certain extent, ladies and gentlemen, Joseph Diaz is explaining that, it's kind of, the ball is to a certain extent in the hands of Tevin Farmer and his team. to bring the right numbers. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, we got to understand that. And we got to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that Jojo Diaz, won his last fight against the only fight they had. Jojo Diaz won, okay? Pan it out however it happened, he won, okay? And I think that his cut, as a matter of fact, on a recent live that we had, I talked about that. I think that Jojo Diaz's cut was, keeping him back from giving a more optimum performance against Farmer, which is why the scorecards were quite close. I didn't see it too close, in my humble opinion, in my eyes, when I saw the fight, but, according to the scorecards, it was quite close. So I think that, I think that cut over Jojo Diaz's eye, it was a big, humongous gash, was hindering Jojo Diaz from giving an optimum performance, okay? But it is what it is. So he won, and he goes on to say here concerning that, just for the fact that he won, okay, we gotta understand this. Look what he's saying. He says, they're saying that I wanted to take the A side. I mean, that's so obvious, okay? I mean, that's what I'm saying here, guys, ladies and gentlemen. I know we don't want to hear the A side, B side stuff, but as I said, ladies and gentlemen, it's part of boxing. We can't. You said it's a part of boxing. I mean, it is what it is, okay? We heard it with Teofimo versus Loma. We heard it with, obviously Spence versus Bud. It's all the time. It's everywhere. Porter versus Bud, lowballing Porter, 1 million, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. We'll go back to Anthony Joshua and Wilder. It's just a fact, ladies and gentlemen. It's a part of it. Even though we don't really want to talk about it or hear about it, it is what it is. It's going to be in our faces all the time when it comes to the sport of boxing, ladies and gentlemen. When it comes to high caliber fights, you see what I'm saying? It's just a part of it. And Jojo Diaz saying here that, it looks like he's implying that, Tevin Farmer's team wasn't accepting Jojo Diaz being the A side. Let's continue. Watch. It says, I do want to take the A side. They're saying they weren't trying to be the A side, but you getting more money for the fight is basically being the A side. And that's basically what he was gonna be getting for the rematch. So I'm like, it doesn't make sense. You guys are talking nonsense for nothing. You guys are talking bull bleeping. You already know I keep it clean up in here. We're doing new things at Renee Boxing. Y'all know what that's about. So it looks like there's a little dilemma there between Tevin Farmer's team and Jojo Diaz. It looks like as I according to what Jojo Diaz is saying, at least. Looks like he's saying that, implying that, Farmer, they kind of wanted the piece of the pie, a bigger chunk or what have you, and Jojo Diaz was like, no, I mean, I'm the one, I beat you, so, I got the belt, so, I mean, I should be making more, which is obvious, ladies and gentlemen. You see how frustrating it is sometimes for fighters, and it's coming out. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I've said it before, we got to understand, ladies and gentlemen, we're in a digital era. Okay, this information is going to come out. I mean, and that's the cool thing to a certain extent. We can understand the ins and outs to a certain extent when it comes to the sport of boxing, when it comes to negotiations. I mean, guys, ladies and gentlemen, look, recently on BFTB, shouts out to the BFTB, I love how he, brings out the facts and breaks things down to minute details when it comes to fighters and their records. Excuse me. And recently on BFTB, there were, Bill Haney was there and Batman, and they were kind of negotiating there on getting a fight arranged between Haney and Russell, ladies and gentlemen. That's great. That's great. I mean, you see, platforms nowadays, ladies and gentlemen, are taken advantage of. And I mentioned recently that, Gary Russell, I made a video. I don't remember what the heck. I think I made it, or I talked about it in a live or something. Gary Russell talked about how he received a direct message, a DM from Eddie Hearn, giving an offer to fight Warrington for $1 million. But Gary Russell denied it and neglected it or whatever, refused it because it wasn't according to his standards. I mean, come on, Gary Russell. Whatever. That's another story. But my point is, it connects to this because you see how digital media, ladies and gentlemen, digital, whatever you want to call it, platform, social media, whatever. I mean, it's used as a tool to bring information out, ladies and gentlemen. You see, we can't be like, nah, technology. No, I mean, it's used to the advantage of many facets of life. And when it comes to the sport of boxing, we get ins and outs regarding the sport of boxing. You can't really say nowadays, I mean, to real hardcore fans who really, research on the ins and outs of the sport of boxing, well, I know it's controversial, but it's not, sometimes valid to say, you don't know, bleep. Bud Crawford came out saying that, something like that some time ago. yeah, you know, people talking about what they don't even know. They don't know bleep about boxing. You don't know bleep about boxing. I mean, to a certain extent, ladies and gentlemen, the boxing community does know something about boxing, whether they're a boxer or not, you guys. You see what I'm saying? Because thanks to the digital era that we're living in. You know, they bring out this information and we know to a certain extent the ins and outs. And why do I say this? Because when we understand, you know, the ins and outs, when it comes to negotiations, it's hard for fighters. It's frustrating, which is what I was saying a moment ago. And I'm just exhaustively, you know, opening up the box so we can see, you know, the details of what I'm saying in a holistic fashion, you see? So in a global fashion, you know, as global as it can get when it comes to this topic. So, you know, it's frustrating. It's frustrating for these fighters. You know, Jojo Diaz wanted to get the rematch or what have you. Farmer also, I understand he wants the rematch. You know, he's expressed it in interviews too. But when it comes to numbers, crunching numbers, like it seems like Jojo Diaz is saying that Farmer, you know, isn't you know, being coherent. You know, he wants more or what have you. He wants more than expected. And, you know, Jojo Diaz being him. I mean, that's just obvious stuff, ladies and gentlemen. You see what I'm saying? I mean, and it looks like that's what Jojo Diaz is expressing here. So to a certain extent, it's kind of disappointing because I think because of this stuff, it's prohibiting the rematch thus far, at least, and because of the coronavirus that he explained earlier. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, it says if you guys really, Jojo Diaz quoting, if you guys really want to make the fight happen, you have to take exactly the cut from you guys. You have to take the cut from you guys. Purse. You see what I'm saying there? I'm sorry, you see what Jojo Diaz is saying? And he says, give it to me and we can make the fight happen. I told my team that. I told my lawyers to tell them that. And nothing ended up materializing. You see that, ladies and gentlemen? You see how he's explaining it? And he continues to say, that's when we ended up going after this mandatory. Wow. So I've got to take care of this guy after this fight. If they want to come right with the money, then we can make the fight happen. You see, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like according to, I know we got to hear both sides of the story, okay? I mean, but I think I reiterate what I said a moment ago at the beginning of this, that I think Jojo Diaz is being honest. I don't think he's lying. I don't think he's sitting here, you know, blowing smoke up our behinds as fans, as a community. You know, I think he's being quite honest. Again, there are two sides to the story. But according to Jojo Diaz, you know, the money ain't right with Tevin Farmer. Them, with the numbers they're bringing, it ain't right. You know, I told my lawyer to tell them and their team and, you know, and because of them not getting the numbers straight, I went and took my mandatory. I went and you know, I went for my mandatory IBF or whatever that belt is, right? Yeah, IBF, if I'm not mistaken. So that's what he's doing. I'm fighting Rakhimov, and you know, because of that, we couldn't see the rematch immediately. But it's fine because you know it's fine. Go ahead and take care of your mandatory. But I really do want it. This would be an awesome. You know, this would be awesome. A rematch between Tevin Farmer and Jojo Diaz. But now, I would like to say this also. I talked about this in a recent live that you know, you got a lot of names, ladies and gentlemen, in this division at 130, if I remember correctly. They're at, you know, you got Valdez and Burchell. All these hands are tied. I get it, but in the near future, it can happen. Okay, the winner of these matchups, Burchell, Valdez, Oscar Valdez. You know what I'm saying? You got Frampton versus Herring. Okay, you even got Shakur in the mix in that division. You got some amazing names, ladies and gentlemen, up there, down there, or however you want to say it, in that division. You know, so I don't think it has to be really rushed. And I think that, you know, Jojo Diaz has a lot more options, ladies and gentlemen. Technically speaking here, guys, come on, let's be real. Farmer doesn't have a belt. I mean, Jojo Diaz, he has a belt. So he beat Farmer fair and square. I mean, Jojo Diaz has a lot more options. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm trying to get at here? He doesn't have to go immediately to go and fight after Rakhimov fight Tevin Farmer. But it would be awesome. Don't think I'm saying, no, they shouldn't fight. Of course they should. I mean, it would be amazing. You know? But Jojo Diaz doesn't really have to, because look at all the names we're talking about here. You see what I'm saying? He beat Jojo. He beat Tevin Farmer. Okay, go on. He has a lot more options. So we'll see. I mean, again, if they fight later on this year, awesome. But we'll see how things turn out this year. You know what I'm saying, concerning these two warriors. You know, I reiterate, according to, you know, Jojo Diaz, Tevin Farmer ain't getting the numbers straight, being a little bit too greedy I tend to agree. I tend to believe Jojo Diaz and all this. You know, some people just got to be humble and just take what you got, what you need, what's fair. You know, that's my opinion regarding, you know, Tevin Farmer. But as I said, two sides of the story. I get it. Maybe Tevin Farmer will come out and say it's not like that or whatever. I don't know. But I don't think, I reiterate, guys, I don't think Jojo Diaz is sitting here trying to, you know, blow smoke up people's behinds. You know, I don't think he's like that. Just look, you know, you can kind of tell when it comes to the personality of certain fighters and their persona, the way they conduct themselves, the way they're, you know, you can tell who's serious and who's about, you know, being sincere and real, and who's not. I'm not saying Tevin Farmer's not, no, but I tend to agree with what or believe. You know, I just want to reiterate and emphasize that I tend to believe Jojo Diaz, what he's saying is legit. But we'll see, right? We'll see. I really do hope, man, these numbers are figured out and that we get to see this rematch. I mean, if that's the case, if that's going to be like that, if it's going to be like that, this year, Jojo Diaz, Tevin Farmer rematch, awesome. Awesome. How many times have I said, ladies and gentlemen, these lower divisions, they're setting the record straight. They're giving the example also to a lot of these other fighters that are playing patty cake. You know, that are playing patty cake, back and forth. Social media. We ain't got time for that, really. I understand. I've covered it from time to time. I cover it sometimes, but I ain't got time to sit there, you know, week after week talking about the same thing. No. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time for that. A lot of us don't got time for that. And a lot of the boxing community is getting tired of it. And I've been tired of it, but a lot of boxing community is just getting sick of it. They're getting tired of it. Ain't got time for that. You see what I'm saying? And Jojo Diaz and Tevin Farmer, I think they're, you know, they're setting a nice example here. They fought each other, you know, talking about a rematch. If it goes down, hey, and not just them. These names I just mentioned, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? Burchell, Valdez, Frampton, Herring. You know what I'm saying? They're making the matchups. They're fighting. You know, whatever you want to say, yeah, it's the promoters, it's Bob, I don't care, whatever. But the good thing here is that they're fighting. Okay, you can even go to another platform, whatever you want to call it. You know, you got Chocolatito, you know, versus Estrada, Brackus, you know, McCaskill, undisputed. They're gonna rematch. I mean, you know, people are setting the example out there. Fighters, warriors are really setting the example to all these others who are just playing patty cake. Setting the example, and y'all know the names. I don't even gotta mention the names of those who are just going back and forth playing patty cake. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the case may be. So interesting stuff. We'll see what happens. You know, I'm not a guy who foresees the future or whatever, but I kind of sense that this may happen very soon, ladies and gentlemen. If so, awesome. Bring it. Would love to see it. So, hey, comment, like, subscribe. Thank you so much for, you know, tuning in, man. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Comment in the comment section. What do you think about all this? Man, this would be an amazing fight. You know what I'm saying? A rematch? Heck yeah. The first fight was fun. You know what I'm saying? So a rematch would be awesome. You know, so I think there would be a lot more action too in the rematch. And this is why this is highly anticipated. And this is why this should be talked about. These are the things that should be, you know what I'm saying? Real fighters. I mean, I'm not saying the other people aren't fighters, real fighters, but, you know, people who are really about it, and when they say something, they're gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? I think these two fighters are really about what they're talking about. They really want the rematch. I don't think they're gonna be going patty cake much. I don't think they're gonna be doing patty cake back and forth for a long time. Hopefully not, right? But we'll see. So go ahead and comment in the comment section. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, share. Renee Box Young. Take the hate somewhere else. Y'all know how we do it here, man. We're doing new things at Renee Box Young. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe. Please take care of you and your loved ones. Peace out, family. Thanks so much.